Okay, I have to be honest, I have been watching General Hospital for a long time. And there are moments that genuinely make you put down whatever you're eating and just stare at the screen with your mouth open. What's coming for Willow Tate Kane? This is one of those moments. In fact, this might be the moment that defines her entire character arc, because once this goes down, hint, there is absolutely no coming back from it. Let me walk you through what's about to unfold, because the writers are clearly not interested in being gentle with any of us this season. The secret that's been eating Willow alive. For weeks now, Willow has been living a double life that most Port Charles residents couldn't even imagine. Behind the soft smiles and the carefully curated image of a devoted mother and reformed soul, she has been secretly administering digitalis, a cardiac glycoside drug, to Drew Kane. The drug, which in controlled doses can regulate heart rhythm, becomes something far more sinister when used deliberately on a healthy person. In high enough quantities, it causes disorientation, weakness, and in extreme cases, cardiac arrest. Willow's plan was control, whether it was to keep Drew compliant to buy herself time, or to prevent him from exposing something she desperately needed buried. The show has been teasing the full motive for a while. The method she chose was cold, calculated, and frankly, terrifying. She wasn't acting in a rage. She was organized. That almost makes it worse. The location she chose for this arrangement was an isolated house, somewhere off the radar, away from prying eyes and unexpected visitors. Drew was being kept there likely under the belief that the situation was temporary, that Willow had some kind of endgame that didn't end in catastrophe. She was wrong about that. The night everything goes horribly wrong. Here's where the story shifts from disturbing to absolutely devastating. On what appears to be just another visit, Willow administers another dose of digitalis. Except this time, something is different. The dosage, whether through miscalculation, a moment of distraction, or a deeper subconscious decision that even she might not fully understand, is far too high. Way beyond what she had been giving him before. Way beyond what the human body can safely process. And Drew's body makes that known almost immediately. What starts as subtle distress escalates within minutes into something violent and horrifying. Drew begins convulsing, not a mild tremor, but full-body seizures, the kind that are impossible to mistake and impossible to ignore. And then comes the image that I think is going to haunt viewers, the foaming at the mouth. That visceral gut punch visual that tells everyone watching exactly what is happening even before any character says a word. Willow is right there. She watches it happen. The worst choice imaginable. This is the scene I think the writers have been building toward, and it's as brutal as it sounds. Willow stands in that isolated house phone in her hand, watching Drew Kane convulse on the floor, and she has to make a decision. Not a comfortable decision. Not a clean one. The two options in front of her are both catastrophic in completely different ways. Option 1, she calls 911. Emergency responders arrive, Drew gets treatment, and there is a chance, maybe a real chance, that he survives. But the moment those paramedics walk through that door, everything she has been hiding walks out into the open with them. The digitalis in his bloodstream. The secluded house. The whole architecture of what she has been doing to him. There would be no explanation that holds up. There would be no spin. Willow Tate Kane, cancer survivor, mother of Wiley and Amelia, would be exposed as the person who has been poisoning Drew Kane for weeks. Option 2, she does nothing. She lets him die. And then she figures out what to do with the body. I don't think Willow ever truly committed to option 2. That's actually the most tragic part of this whole story. I don't think she wanted Drew dead. I think she wanted a third option that didn't exist, and she spent so long searching for it that the universe made the decision for her. She hesitates. She panics. She paces. She picks up the phone, puts it down, picks it up again. Seconds become minutes. And the whole time, Drew's window is closing. Too late. By the time Willow finally dials those 3 digits and the ambulance comes screaming toward that isolated address, the golden hour, that critical window in cardiac emergencies where intervention can still make a meaningful difference, has already passed. The paramedics do what they can. They work on Drew. They don't give up easily. But the damage the overdose caused, combined with how long his body was left to fight it alone, is too extensive. Drew Kane doesn't make it. Willow made the call. She can tell herself that. She can repeat it to herself in the dark that she didn't just stand there and let him die, that she eventually did the right thing. But eventually wasn't enough. And I think on some level she already knows that the death gets ruled as a medical emergency initially, at least in those first chaotic hours. Drew's history, his lifestyle, possibly even prior health details the show has been planting, could make a cardiac event look plausible on the surface. Willow might have allowed herself to believe just for a moment that it could stay that way. She was wrong about that too. What the autopsy reveals. Port Charles has one of the most competent medical examiner setups on daytime television, and this storyline is about to prove it. When the forensic team examines Drew's body, they don't just confirm cause of death, they dig deeper. The toxicology screening, something that gets ordered in any unexpected or suspicious death, especially for someone as prominent as Drew Kane, comes back with results that cannot be explained away. Digitalis, present in Drew's bloodstream at a level far exceeding anything that could occur naturally. It doesn't take long for the medical and investigative team to connect the dots. This wasn't an accidental overdose. This wasn't a health crisis. This was someone systematically poisoning Drew Kane over an extended period of time and then administering a fatal dose. The investigation closes in fast. Whoever had access to Drew, whoever knew his location, whoever had both motive and opportunity. The evidence trail doesn't leave a lot of suspects standing once it gets narrowed down, and it points hard and clearly at one person. Detective Dante Falconeri, to his credit, doesn't rush this. He does the work. He follows the evidence. And by the time Drew's funeral is being planned, Dante already knows what he needs to know. The funeral scene that changes everything. Funerals on General Hospital are always charged moments. Port Charles knows how to grieve dramatically publicly with maximum emotional collateral damage for everyone involved. And Drew Kane's funeral is no exception. Friends and family gather to mourn someone who meant something to a lot of people in that town. Michael, Carly, people who believed in Drew, who loved him, who have no idea yet that the person responsible for his death might be standing a few feet away with a black dress and a tear-streaked face. And then Dante walks in. He's not there to pay his respects. He's in full detective mode, and everyone in that room can feel the shift the moment he enters. There's that specific kind of silence that falls over a crowd when something is about to happen that cannot be taken back. He walks directly toward Willow. The handcuffs come out, and so does the charge. The words land in that quiet room like a stone into still water, suspected poisoning, involuntary manslaughter. Possibly more, depending on how the full investigation shakes out. The people around her, people who trusted her, grieved alongside her. Maybe even comforted her, watch in complete shock as the picture of who Willow Tate Kane actually is gets redrawn in real time. Getting arrested at a funeral for the death you caused is a level of dramatic irony that even General Hospital rarely reaches. The writers absolutely stuck the landing on this one. What this means going forward. I'll be honest, I have complicated feelings about where Willow ends up from here. On one hand, what she did is inexcusable. Poisoning someone over weeks, depriving them of freedom, and then hesitating long enough at a critical moment that they died. There is no version of that story where Willow comes out looking like a victim. But General Hospital has always been interested in the gray spaces of human behavior. The show rarely lets a character stay one thing forever. Willow's downfall is going to be enormous. The legal consequences alone will reshape her life completely. Losing custody of her children, the public exposure, the betrayal that Michael and Carly and Dante and everyone else is going to feel, it's all coming. What I'm watching for is whether the show allows her a genuine moment of reckoning. Not a redemption arc, I don't think that's available to her right now, but an actual confrontation with what she did and why she did it. Because the hesitation in that room, that agonizing pause between calling for help and not calling, is the most human moment in this whole terrible story. She could have let him die cleanly and walked away. She didn't. That choice cost her everything and saved her nothing, but she still made it. That's the kind of complexity that keeps people watching daytime television for decades. Drew Kane deserved better. Port Charles is about to find that out in the most dramatic way possible.